1 Samuel 1:1-2 and 5 says, Now there was a certain man of Ramathaim Zophim, of Mount Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, and he had 2 wives. The name of the one was Hannah. He loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. There are many women out there who are struggling with the pain and shame of not being able to have their own children, whether they are married or single. For many married women, it's hard to deal with cold invasive visits to the doctor. It's tough to hold their breath during painful hormone shots for the 100th time, and it's hard to shed tears over yet another negative pregnancy test result. There are many women who have been waiting for the right mate for a long time, and have lost count of the years they have spent waiting, and want to see the joy of becoming a mother. Not only are they praying to God for a mate, but they also pray for sons and daughters to be born into their families. Both of these situations can have a suffocating effect on an individual due to disappointment and shame. Seeing that God would deliberately shut down the fruitfulness of a woman's life for a time in her life is not an easy thing to imagine, but it is precisely what He did with Hannah, as well as with some of us today. In order for us to be in the optimal condition to receive and steward the next level of increase and multiplication, God is about to pour out on us. God sometimes has to shut down production for a season to complete maintenance, upgrades, renovations, and all other kinds of spiritual, psychological, or physical repairs we need for a season. You may have seen a sign saying that a particular retailer or restaurant is closed for repairs, maintenance, remodeling, renovation, or inventories on a sign in some of your favorite stores or restaurants. You have to be disappointed if you were craving a dessert or saw an item in the window last week that you wanted to get. It takes time to build up your favorite place again with a better menu, updated decor, or special deals and discounts to more than make up for the short-term loss. God shuts things down in our lives at times in order to prepare us for the next big thing about to happen. To prepare for expansion and increase, God closes up shop for a season to allow us to handle what He is about to do. Our viewpoint needs to be shifted regarding issues such as shutting down the womb, delaying the birth of new life, and halting reproduction, fruitfulness, and multiplication for a period of time. The first thing you need to realize is that God has your best interest at heart, despite the fact that you may feel ashamed or as though He has forgotten about you. Jeremiah 29:11 says, For I know the plans and thoughts that I have for you, says the Lord, plans for peace and well-being and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. 3 John the 2nd chapter lets us know, He desires that in every way we succeed, prosper, and be in good health. Proverbs 15:8 lets us know, He loves to hear and answer your prayers. Psalms 34:19 lets us know, He loves to come to your rescue. In this manner, whenever He calls for a shutdown, He is doing so with a great deal of love and attention for you and your future. There is an intention in the direction of the plans He has in mind for your life, although He will share His secrets with us concerning our own lives. He does not always share everything with us at once. There are times when we do not see the whole picture in our minds as God does. But because of what we know about His love and faithfulness, we are able to trust Him even in the unknown. The assurance we have in the fact that God is always orchestrating our lives in such a way that everything will work out for our good can be seen in Romans 8:28. It's great how the Amplified Bible says, "And we know, with great confidence, that God, who is deeply concerned about us, causes all things to work together, as a plan, for good for those who love God, to those who are called according to His plan and purpose." God's timing is what we need to align with. Despite having been prophesied to, we cannot always assume that it is our season, and we are prepared for what lies ahead. In order to understand God's strategy and intention for our lives, we must realize that He has His own schedule. There is a season and a fullness of time around which He orders the events of our lives as they unfold if we surrender ourselves to Him. The good news is this is encouraging to the woman of God who trusts God and knows the seasons and times in which He will use her. Essentially, this means that the outcome of your barrenness season is in the hands of God, and He is orchestrating it for His own purposes. I promise you, your being barren is not in the hands of the enemy, with you about to lose grip as random and traumatic attacks are launched against you. In the details of every twist and turn, God is working in order to ensure that both you and your seed will be brought to a successful conclusion. Samuel was born at a certain place and time that God had predetermined, just as He has a same place and time to fulfill the promise that He is seated in you. The Lord shut Hannah's womb in order to work in her heart as well as to prepare her to become the mother of one of the greatest prophets ever to come out of this world. Hannah may not have found herself in the sanctuary of the Lord year after year, seeking His face and crying out to Him for mercy, if it had been easy for her to bear children. Her character was developed during the course of those times, and God was able to share with her His plan for her promised son during those times as well. What would have happened if Samuel had been born while Hannah was still thinking about having a son just for herself? It is unlikely that we would have had the Samuel we honor to this day, the one who restored the people to their God following a long spiritual drought, as well as the one who established a prophetic order that led God's people for hundreds of years. Embracing God's timing was crucial for Hannah even during a time when it seems as though He wasn't answering. Even though it isn't always easy to believe, you know your God hears every prayer and gathers every tear you shed. He is listening, and He is answering. I stand by His promises. Philippians 2:13 says, "Though there is pain in this season, there is also much comfort to be found in that God is working in you to will and to do according to His good pleasure, plans, and purposes." I want to leave you with these words of encouragement. You are going through a difficult time, beloved, but I encourage you to press into God during this time. Seek His guidance in understanding His timing for you. It is my prayer that you will find peace in Jesus. Wait for God. Don't let the worries of life get you down, because joy will come in the morning.